This is In the Zone with Ian Robb and Dancin Rodda. One's a mental toughness coach who also helps riders with recovery. The other, a horseman with soul, who is also a marriage counselor for the rider and horses. Together, they dive beyond ribbons and rankings to where real riders train, the mind. From elite arenas to quiet barns, this show is about the mental edge, the recovery rhythm, and the heart that keeps you in sync with your horse and yourself. So whether you're tuning in from the tack room or the open road, saddle up. You're in the zone now.
Welcome to In the Zone with Ian Robb and Dancin Rodda. Pete, we're going to do it again. We got a great guest today.
We've got a really good guest.
Yes.
This is going to be fun. I think most riders going into the warm-up arena probably ruin their ride before they get there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, and why is that?
I think it's mindset.
Yeah. Has nothing to do with training your horse, does it?
Well, training's important.
Yeah.
But I think mindset can be pretty important in this.
Well, we have someone that works with the questions to unlock what's blocking them so they can ride with clarity, trust, and confidence again, Pete. And we're excited. I know I'm excited because this person just joined us here at the World Questioning Center. Got a cabin this week, and I introduced her name is Jessica Makris. Okay, and she's
Makris.
Makris. I screwed that one up. Figures there again, Makris. So let me try that again. Let's go. We're gonna have Jessica Makris.
Makris.
Okay, whatever it is. The Mind Diva. Okay. Let's do it again.
Diva. Okay.
Sure. So today we have someone that I just met the other day. She's here at the World of Questioning Center for this week. She's going to be at HITS the following week and back at the World of Questioning Center. So she actually works with riders that kind of help to unblock what's blocking them from their ride being so clean and so good. And she does that all about the mindset. So that fits right into what we're talking about right here. So if you guys get pressure or the stories kind of get held back a little bit, we're excited that we have Jessica Makris.
Makris.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's your accent. It sounds like you're saying mattress.
It's been
Well, the comic relief has started.
yeah, it's been everything under the sun.
All right. Fair enough. Jessica, thank you for joining us today. We're excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit more about your background here and how you're helping the riders on out, because that's one of your emphasis that you're wanting to do.
Okay, so I am a clinical hypnotherapist. I do mind mastery and consciousness coaching. I specialize in sports performance, and I'm certified in MAR, which is mental emotional release therapy. I do NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming. I have certifications in human behavior and trauma recovery, which I think is very important in this field. A lot of trauma gets stored regularly without our conscious awareness. So through a lot of painful past with the horses, growing up riding and showing, I have turned my pain into power, and I'm here to do the same for others so that your performance can be optimized and you can push past those limitations of your mind that we so often are unaware of.
So Jessica, before we got started, we should have been recording because it was really good. So we're going to replay this. So what started this journey? Because you were telling me that your trainer was very typical for a lot of people's training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Was lots of yelling and screaming. And then how did that make you feel?
Right. So I moved down to Florida when I was 15 years old. We had a summer home down here when I was a kid growing up. So we would always come down, and that evolved into summer camps down at Grand Cypress, like back when that was a thing. And then it evolved to coming down here for shows all the time. So eventually, when I was 15, to further my horse career, my parents and we all moved down here. But I was still very green overall with the whole industry. And so we were very suggestible to guidance. And unfortunately for me at the time, I was put together with a trainer who was very manipulative, very narcissistic, and very abusive mentally. I think once I exceeded her capability, her tactic to keep me was to keep me afraid and to keep me uneducated. So that really started and I was very impressionable. She used, I had a very bad accident when I was 17. I snapped my leg in half, and that she took that and used that as a play against me for the remainder of my time with her. And I was with her until I was 21. So it was rough.
So,
And I couldn't see it at the time. You know, when you're in it, it's really hard to see what's happening to you.
so I've had mentors do this for me, take what I thought was a bad situation and tell me, have you ever thanked her for this? Because now look where you are because of that experience.
You know, it's interesting that you bring that point up. I saw her recently. I see her often, and I have a lot of people in question to me and how I can speak to her and not have an emotional reaction to it. But I found it is so freeing to find the lesson and the gratitude when something terrible happens. There's never not a silver lining. My horse lost his life due to this person. There was years and years of resentment, years and years of pain. Not only did he lose his life, but I lost mine in a sense because all my dreams died with him. We were headed to the top and everything crumbled when he passed away and he was ripped from me. That's still something I struggle with to this day, but I don't think I'd be where I am if it didn't play out exactly as it did. So I chose a long time ago to free myself from the chains that I was holding on myself, having this anger, this resentment towards her. We wrote letters, we burned them. You are aware of this, you know, you've done that too. And I don't carry it. I think that everyone's path is different. Forgiveness is for you, not for the other person.
Very good.
So, question, when you experienced this and you started realizing with your mind, how did you start training yourself? What was the steps that you started to do? What was your journey?
You know, so the journey, buckle up. Like, that's really where the journey started. I fell into a deep depression after he passed away because, like I said, not only he died, and I was very attached to him, but I feel like all my dreams died with him. Following his death, we were conned into purchasing another one so that I could go on to finals and nationals and do all the things. The horse that was sold to me was sold medicated, and he was also sold for an extreme amount of money when that was stolen from us, essentially. The horse had a really bad habit of launching you when you would try to get on. We later found out years later that he was sold with an 8-page manual, and the first 2 pages of that were how to mount. The horse needed to be put into a chute, and you had to have a ground person holding him, and you had to get a leg up. It was the only way he would let you get on him. But I didn't know that at the time. So I'm trying to recover from the death of my horse. I'm falling off every single day. I'm still not in acceptance that my trainer at the time really had a hand in all of this. So, and she was just telling me, well, you need to learn how to ride better. This is all on you. This is your fault. And I took that and I believed it to be true. And something that's really important to me that I really want to share is we make a decision with beliefs. At some point in your life, something was said to you or something happened and you believed it to be true. And that's a decision. We call these limiting decisions. We made a decision and a choice where I'm going to accept that. Now I believe that about myself. And I believed this for years, and it hindered me in every area of my life, and it shaped me. And I feel like I could never get ahead. And I had a trail of events of just darkness, dark, dark, dark. And I feel like when you hit your knees so many times and you have all this darkness, there's only one way to go from there. And I started to get really curious of what to do with this darkness and how I can overcome it. And so I started a journey, a spiritual journey, a deep, deep inner reflection, inner growth. It led me to so many different avenues where I met so many incredible people in different fields of energy, of healing. I'm certified Kundalini yoga, so I teach that as well.
Is that like a karate or yoga?
It's actually not. It's the fast track to enlightenment yoga. They do so instead of posy yoga. So I'm not a very good posy person. I'm not a posy person. I can't really do those yoga poses great. So I never really enjoyed yoga because I wasn't flexible. And I read this book called The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. Highly recommend it. And she kept talking about Kundalini in it. And I was like, what is this? And this is around 2016, I think. So I was like, I'm going to go find a Kundalini class. I'm going to take it. And it's a little taboo. So it's a little woo-woo. People get a little turned off on it because of this. But they do a lot of chanting, mantra stuff, a lot of their practices under the term Kriya, and all the chanting and stuff is to activate the meridians in your mouth. There's 84 meridians in your mouth, and when you vibrate by chanting, you are creating new neural pathways. And then a lot of the Kriyas you do, they really push your boundaries. So there's these Kriyas where you're holding your hands above your head for 66 minutes and your body's bucking and you are angry and you're going through a whole process in your body where you're rubbing up on that edge of those physical limitations. But when you override those, it is the most liberating and euphoric, amazing experience. And I was addicted. And so I went on to become a certified teacher of that as well.
It's too
And
bad
so-
this is just an audible type of podcast because we would have her start doing these things here.
I'll put my arms above my head and
There
start
you go.
chanting.
Just
But-
wait, try it. You're gonna start like everything that you think comes to your mind, and it is crazy.
So what I'm enjoying, why since you can't see, we're on the podcast, is what I'm enjoying about Jessica is she's passionate about what she's talking about. What a lot of people don't realize is I'm very passionate when it comes to the horses and how I teach and all that kind of stuff. So to see someone that's just as passionate, wanting to put that out there,
Yeah.
like this is really powerful. It's not like you're sitting there, yeah, this is really powerful. So if you're listening, she's moving around and moving her hands and really is into it.
And before we did this podcast, we had Heather from Farmhouse Chiropractic do a little cupping in our
Yeah.
cabin here.
I'm all
So we-
loose now.
No, loose, ready
Loose
to
and
go.
ready.
But Pete, this is a common story. I must have heard this at least 5
Mhm.
to 8 times from writers and all this stuff. Would you agree?
Oh yes, that's one of my pet peeves is trainers believe yelling and screaming is helping you.
No.
And I always tell my students is the only time you're going to hear me yell, scream, or anything like that is either, woohoo, Jessica, you're getting it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to yell at you for doing it. Or if you don't hear me to get off because you're about to die,
Right.
that's the only times I'm really
Yeah.
going to get my voice
Yeah.
bigger to go snap out of it, get off kind of thing. But these people that think that I always tell them, lessons aren't cheap anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell my students, if you have somebody yelling at you, stop them and say, look, I'm spending $100 an hour on you. You think I want to mess up?
Right.
I'm doing my best, but I don't want to throw money away. I'm doing the best that I know how to do. So you need to help me either break it down further
Mhm.
or realize I can't physically do it right now.
Yeah. To that point, Pete, I think the screamers, the yellers, the trainers that do that often are uneducated. They can't go past that limit. And because of that, they feel a need to get louder. Louder does not mean you are smarter. Louder is actually a direct indicator that you don't know what you're talking about. And I've passed this to many clients who it's like a light bulb goes off and they're like, that's exactly it. Second to that is I have done a deep study in human behavior and human language, and not everyone receives and delivers information in the same way. And understanding this is something that I don't think many people know about or practice. And it is huge for building relationships with people, because if Nicole receives information better inferentially, which she does, I am a much more I want it direct, and she go around the bush, she's going to absorb it differently more versus someone like me is like be very direct, very specific. And there's 2 types of people and there's 2 types of languages. So, and this is a common problem with relationships, with professional relationships, trainer rider relationships, because if I'm telling you to do this, but you're receiving information in a totally different way, it's Chinese and Japanese. You're not going to get it.
Well, Ray Hunt had a great saying. I know you think you understand what I said, but you don't understand what I meant.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part for a lot of writers. And that's what I pride myself in. I'll teach it 6 different ways to
Right.
Sunday. But at the same time, I do get frustrated. And when I hear my frustration come,
Yeah.
that's my cue to go, okay, start over,
Mhm.
go back. They're trying their best
Yeah.
because we've gone over it 100 times. So the frustration does come out
Oh,
from the
100%.
trainers.
And, not every horse goes the same way. Not every rider is going to go the same way. And some trainers want all the horses to be ridden this certain way, but they're their own mind, their own heart, their own soul, and they're all going to go different. And each rider is unique in the same way. But I do understand what the frustration can feel like because some people are a little hard-headed and you just want to shake them and be like, and that's, it's hard. Not everyone wants a mirror and not everyone wants to look in and see what's going on with them and how they can evolve and change to do better. And that makes it difficult, but you can only bring the horse to water, right? You can't make them drink.
But if you wait until they're ready to or thirsty,
Yeah.
you might win that bet.
Yeah.
So since you, Jessica, just mentioned Nicole, so everyone
Yeah.
here that's listening to us, Nicole is one of Jessica's clients, and she's up here from Orlando, and she just so happened to have a session with her today, and we thought of including her in. But before we get to Nicole, I just want to kind of bring this up because I feel like a lot of riders say, "I just need more confidence," Jessica. When someone says that to you, what do you hear underneath it?
Oh, it's a much deeper rooted typically than just horses. And this goes back to those limiting beliefs. At some point, they made a decision about themselves to not be confident, or there was there's a block somewhere. And this could go back to childhood. This could go back to one traumatic event that seeped right through that critical mind and just dropped into the subconscious, and now it's a belief pattern. So I typically would like to start by unpacking a little bit more to see. So I drop them into a hypnotic state so where we can feel safe to unload that, find the deep-rooted parts of it, and then we can start to improve, reprogram, and move on from that.
And I think this is a great segue now for Nicole. Good to have you here.
It's very nice to be here.
Yes, and this is your first podcast, correct?
It is.
You're not nervous at all?
No.
No, not a bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your experience in working with Jessica, what we're just talking about right now?
So I met Jessica about a year ago and started working with her. I came from a type of similar situation where I had a really mentally abusive trainer to me and my poor horse. And I just really got into that down mindset of just really not believing in myself, not believing in him, and not believing that I could actually be competitive and do well in this industry. And just really put those blockers up and was having a really hard time and was coming off at every single lesson. And no matter I was at a lesson, at a show, I was in the dirt. So I just really got into my head about that. And after working with her, I just completed my first season and won grand champion of everything. And we were third place year-end amateur of the year, which I never thought would actually be possible. A lot of people have these big fancy horses and you put those stigmas on of like, you need all of this. And it's like, no, you can be your own person and still do really well and be at the top with other things. So it's been a lot of hard work, but a lot of good work to find that in myself and fix a lot of issues.
What was the moment that it started to break through for you with your work with Jessica?
Not being in the dirt every lesson. That was
having clean clothes when you were done.
That was nice to actually be able to stay on and have a full ride and stay with him and not have that fear of like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Why are we doing this? This isn't fun anymore. I really lost that sight of having a good time and enjoying the sport that, so much.
Without going in depth, unless you want to, for the listeners, what was the moment and what did Jessica say to switch that switch?
Really the biggest moment, and I still remember it to this day, it was the February horse show. And we had just done a session right before I walked in, and it was my second or third session with her after working, and I walked into the show ring and I actually had a successful round where I stayed on, I got all my leads, got all my distances, and everything just made sense. I sang a song and I just stayed in the moment with my horse and just really found that joy again of like, the past is the past and you can't change it and you got to just move forward from it and, just find that love again with my horse and just have a good time.
You have to tell them the story about the green jump. And when you called me, I was in Jekyll Island with my daughter and she's like, it's the green jump. I'm scared of the green jump. So we did a whole session on loving the color green.
She literally put me in a
made
room with
love to the color green. We made love with it. And
So-
now you love green jumps.
So at this horse show, there is always a green jump. It's a green box, green standards. And my horse has a tendency to just squirt over things. And he's little, like he's barely 15 hands, maybe 15 1. So when he squirts over it, it's a lot to just stay with him. And every time we'd hit this green jump, he was just squirting over it. And I'm like, Jessica, I'm ruining my rounds. SOS, it's a green jump. It's a green jump. And we had a session of everything being green, and now it's another thing.
So you said something that caught my ear, that you were singing.
Yes.
When you were, talk to us more about that part.
What song?
I knew that was coming from you.
Yes.
I'm not.
No, it's Lonely
Lonely
Road
Road.
by Jelly Roll. I don't know why it's that song. It's just
Oh, he'd be crying right now if we knew that.
it was that song, and every day since it's been that song. Every round it's Lonely Road by Jelly Roll.
Wow, you should do a video and put that on there. I bet he would
Yeah.
reach out to you.
I know, that'd be pretty
Yeah.
cool.
I have one of those things you could wear
Shout out
as
to
you're
Jelly
riding,
Roll.
and you could sing it and do it at the same time. That'd be impressive.
Yeah.
So that's really impressive. So one of the things that in my lessons, I always say horsemanship is more about what's happening with the human and what's happening at home more than what's happening at the barn. And what do you think about that, Jessica?
You know, when I went to school, one of the very first classes I took, totally unrelated to horses, but they started teaching, they're like, your subconscious mind is just like a horse. And I was immediately like, tell me more. Because you can put a halter on a horse, but if you go put that halter on, you pull it, it's gonna be like, get off of me. You know, it's gonna resist, it's gonna fight back. You put that halter on, you're soft, you're gentle, energetically guiding. The horse can go, okay, where are you going? Let's go there. And that's literally how your mind works. And the thing is that your critical mind, your conscious mind, it's that resistance. And your subconscious mind is where all your programming is. 90% of your underneath, it's your thoughts that are being fired. It's 80,000 thoughts being fired a day. You want to have control over those thoughts. But if you try to aggressively take those thoughts, the critical mind is going to resist, and it's not going to work in your favor in that way. So that answers your.
So I'm just curious, do riders usually know what's blocking them, or are they completely misdiagnosing the problem when they're riding?
That could be a hit or miss. That could be 50-50. There could be like one particular problem that keeps arising, but they don't necessarily know what's under the hood of that. My horse keeps stopping. I don't know why. I do strongly believe that a horse is a direct reflection of your subconscious mind. Whatever's going on there, there's going to be an energetic transference. And I know this with my horse. When her stomach hurts, my stomach hurts. When my stomach hurts, her stomach hurts. Like we are so energetically, intertwined with each other. And this is going undiscovered. And I'm here to really shine light on this because it's so important. And you get on your horse, your horse is always trying to speak to you, And too many people are missing the signs, missing that communication. And if you just get quiet, just sit for a second, understand, tap into your own self, what's really going on with you, you'll be able to understand and have better communication between you and your animal.
That's great.
Yeah.
I actually was teaching a lesson this week that we talked about that. Somebody said, yeah, you know how horses get quiet and they don't say anything for a while. And I'm like, no, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
And then they're like, what do you mean? I said, I hear him talking the whole
the whole
time.
time. Yeah.
However, there are horses that shut down.
Yeah.
And that's what they were talking about. So,
And that's communication in itself, isn't it?
yes, ma'am.
So.
It's kind of funny because a lot of people think what blocks a rider a lot of days nowadays are outside voices, the trainers, the parents, social media.
Oh, God.
But versus their own internal voice, like you're saying, is what they really got to tune in.
Well, the problem is that external voice becomes your internal voice. And social media is such a demise to our world right now. Like self-comparison is the thief of joy. And I feel like social media is the devil, but we all are on it. So I'm just going to be honest. That was a big word. I'm sorry.
Amen. Well, that's kind of interesting. It's just out of curiosity, in your mind, what are the three mental blocks you see across the disciplines from jumpers, hunters, dressage that you see?
Confidence, self-worth. Those are the two biggest ones. Confidence, self-worth, and
Not eating breakfast?
nutrition is a huge thing. Glucose is actually a much bigger deal than you would think it is. When your glucose levels are not regulated, you perform differently 100%. So I do encourage all my top level athletes, anyone that's doing anything athletic, to really be mindful of their nutrition and what's going in your body, because if you're running on 4 cups of coffee in the morning and not understanding why, your rides aren't
While your horse is
great.
running off with you.
Right. That's not going to work out the best for you. So if you really want to be a top athlete, if you want to get to the top, you have to take care of your body in the same way you take care of your mind. The same efforts you put into training your horse need to be put into training yourself, mentally, physically, all of it. It's very important.
So what do you think is the problem with ribbons? Because I see people searching for ribbons and grasping for the goal.
It's a dopamine hit.
Okay. So explain more.
It's just like likes on social media. And we have created this whole essence of attaching our self-worth to a ribbon. I'm only good if I am primary colors. I'm a victim of this. I grew up throwing away 4th, 5th, and 6th. I'm like, because I was trained that way.
Yellow.
Like, it's terrible. If you're not champion, you suck.
What's
and
this pink ribbon thing?
And it's funny because I only recognize this in myself, that I've done this, when I saw it in my child. And he's a baseball player. He plays travel. And if he's not great, he's not happy with himself. And I started to reflect on this, and I started to look at myself and go, where did he get this from? And then I was almost like, I don't know.
The light hit you.
That came, but it was a training that was installed into me at a young age of, if you're not primary, you suck, you get off your horse. And so fortunately for me, I often was. I didn't lose very often in the show ring. So it was a detriment to me when I did. And that's a terrible way to be, because sometimes that's just how it falls. The judge sometimes likes you, the judge sometimes doesn't. But we attach to our worth to certain things. And this happens in every aspect, not just the horse industry, but it happens in corporate. It happens in, to your job. Oh, I'm attaching my worth to this. And when we do that, it's self-destruction, and people are unaware that this is happening. So I do believe that there's an attachment issue to the ribbons, and it all links back to self-worth.
So how do we fix that? Because I have a lot of students that, if they don't win a ribbon, oh my gosh, the world's gonna. And I go, I'm gonna buy you a ribbon.
Right?
Like, is that gonna do it for you?
Yeah.
Because I'll buy you 60 ribbons that look way nicer than the one you're gonna win.
Right.
Isn't that what you're doing when you're paying for all these different shows?
Yeah.
And it's a 50-cent ribbon that we're all like crying hysterically over, and you're like, what is happening? Like, why am I so upset about this?
I did a clinic with one of my mentors on leadership, and we gave out ribbons. Now, they were nice ribbons.
Yeah.
With our logo of our clinic.
Yeah.
And I had grown men crying.
Yeah.
And women that were like, oh, wait until I get to the barn and everybody will see my big ribbon, because I always get jealous about everybody's ribbons when they come back from the show. I was like, we should have done this 6 years ago.
Yeah. And imagine now, it's all over social media. This is the first thing someone wants to do, is when they win a class, is I'm going to post that. And,
Or you walk through the barns,
right,
and you see all the ribbons that stable has.
Yeah.
And it's very impressive. And you're in a small little stable, and you only have one or two compared to one. Yes.
You get stable next to them, and it's an automatic shrinking. There was a study done, a psychologist did this study where he had 2 groups of people, and he took one of the groups of people and he put a scar on their face, like a big scar going from like ear. Do you know this?
Yes.
Yeah. And the other group didn't have it. Right before he sent them out, so it was a social experiment to see how people would interact, right? But right before he sent them out, he was like, oh, I'm just going to touch up your scar. But he was getting rid of it. So the people with the scars supposedly didn't realize that he had wiped them off and they didn't have it there, but they went and did the social experiment anyways. And when the group that had the supposed scars came back, they almost all reported that they felt judged, that everything felt a little bit more tense, that they weren't comfortable because they felt like everyone was kind of like looking at them or judging them differently. When in reality, this was all made up in their minds. And it projected outwardly just through energy on how that scar made them feel when the scar wasn't even there. But this happens with words. This happens with belief systems, all those decisions that we make for ourselves. And, words create worlds. And this is in your thoughts, whatever your thoughts are, whatever you believe is true. That's something I really advocate for.
I always tell my students, you were the best of the worst that was there that day.
Yeah.
So what does it matter? And somebody's got to be second place.
Yeah.
Like, not everybody that signs up can be first place.
Right,
Unless
exactly.
we change that to everybody gets the
Right.
participation
Oh.
ribbon.
And what fun is that?
Right. And learning how to lose is
Yeah.
important.
It's a huge, huge thing. I have to teach my son that all the time. Baseball is the sport of loss.
Yeah.
You strike out more and
I mean, I see a professional pickleball player that
yeah.
has done very well, wins all the tournaments, but she loses a match. She's not learned how to lose gracefully. It's like a little tantrum going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's part of it though, too. And it's tough. How do you change that mindset with your rider? What's the first thing you start with?
The first thing I start with is everything is information. There is no failure. There is no, I lost. There is no, I failed. I think that's the biggest replacement people need, is that it wasn't a failure. It was information. And when you can reframe that, like a lot of my work is reframe. Nicole knows this. Like, we have reframed so many things, and reframe is just making a new decision. And when you do that, everything changes. But that's definitely where I start, is accepting the idea that everything is information. And when you do that, it's exciting. It's like, oh, okay, I learned something new. And your brain only learns through resistance, through pressure. It learns through those uncomfortable moments. Discomfort creates change. So if you're not uncomfortable, you're not changing. So a lot of the times I try to show and highlight that, like, that didn't work. That's great. That is amazing. That means something better is coming. You can learn something new. You're growing. This is great. This is actually great news. And when we reframe it that way, it's like a light bulb goes off. And then, I've seen it time and time again. There's just this evolvement process.
So
Beautiful.
everything's neutral until you put an emotion to it.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. I know. I totally agree with you. And it's just also changing that mindset
Mm-hmm.
and learning from it. So anytime I do something that I didn't do well, I didn't fail. I learned.
Right.
And what can I do better? And
Exactly.
then, but is there a system that you kind of have your riders do before they ride? Like I'm going to give you an example. Like when I taught tennis, what would we do between points? First thing, if you win or lost that point, someone has a streaming shot past you, you take your racket out of your hand, you have a positive physical response.
Right.
Okay. Then you have a relaxation response. You take that deep breath, you work on that. Then you have your, you start thinking about what you need to do for the third one.
Yeah.
Like what's the point? What do I need to do? Set up. And then the fourth one's a ritual. Do you have your riders do any rituals? Do you have any breathing? Anything you do between rides or right before they ride? Is there certain things you ask them to do?
Everyone is very unique. I work with everyone individually. So everything that we do is very special to them. What might work for Nicole might not work for someone else.
She looked at me when she said that.
Yeah. There's a lot more to you.
Because you do the same stuff. But
So what worked with Nicole? Give us an example of what worked for Nicole.
I know
So
that
she's here.
we used like the reins as an anchor one time. That worked.
Explain that.
So I will anchor something physical. So in that day, I was like, hey, bring your bridle to the session that day. So she brought her bridle. So during the session, while we went under and into the, into the hypnosis, she held her reins at the same time. So I was able to anchor the state. So I activate a state. I bring that to the surface and then I anchor it to that physical item. So in that case, it was the reins. And, when she took the reins after that, that state was initially activated.
Absolutely. I think that's great.
Yeah, but you can do that simple. I do anchors I do a lot of knuckle anchors, but then we also do, some people need a quick like I was telling you earlier, any desensitization or circle therapy, or, I teach people how to breathe. That's crazy, but no one knows how to do that.
Breathing's very important.
Yeah.
If you hold your breath during the whole time, it's going to be a very tight
I've
ride.
managed to do an entire round without breathing. the
And this
entire
is like
thing.
the singing. I encourage the singing because not only does you're breathing, but it also goes back to that Kundalini stuff I'm talking about, because those meridians are being activated.
And I've used the technique of singing for students that are very extroverted in their mind,
Mm-hmm.
and that gets them to create their own chaos to
Yeah.
focus them.
Yeah.
And so it's funny because we were talking about just yesterday, but when I played football and basketball, I could use my body a lot more, my inner stuff. But in tennis, there's a lot of pressure because I'm by myself out there. So between points, I would sing,
Yeah.
and I would kind of go in and help me focus on what's being.
Yeah.
Because if not, I started looking around who's watching me, what's going on
Right.
before social
You
media.
were distracting your opponent.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he can't sing. Stop this.
And it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Your brain wants a job. Your brain is, it wants something to do all the time. And unfortunately, most of the time, that brain is scanning for catastrophe. What could go wrong? Are you safe? It is a protector and a predictor. And so if you don't give it something to do, it's going to be all over the place. And its job is to scan for catastrophe so that it keeps keeping us safe, right? But if we're focused on what our brain is focusing on, if we don't have awareness of that, then that could lead us down some really dark paths and unsuccessful events.
So how do you get a student to get out of the fear mode?
We do a lot of I take them out of this fearful state and into a confident state, or whatever state they're seeking. Everyone's goal and desires are different, so we find those first. I do a lot of state activation, right? So we've done that where we activate a confident state, and then I'm able to, use submodalities to cancel out. So that way, when that fear arises, that other state that we heightened, that we locked in, is now overshadowing, and that fear doesn't have the capability of rising to the surface in the same way that it would have in the past.
So Jessica, what's more destructive in long term? Riding scared or riding angry?
Well, anger is a secondary emotion to fear. So I would say riding scared.
Okay.
Definitely. Both are not going to be conducive to a successful ride at all. I feel like a lot of the people that get angry at the horse unfairly, that's a dangerous ride as well. If you're not open to understanding your horse, I don't think you should be on one.
What do you think about that, Pete?
Oh, she's preaching to the choir.
I can't believe you're quiet on that one,
Yeah.
Pete.
Hey, it was said. I didn't have to say anything else.
All right. So this is a common question we ask all the time, and it's perfect for you. When a rider's truly in the zone, what's happening mentally?
They're present. They're completely present. There's actually probably nothing happening because they're really in the present moment. Their body, their mind, they're confident enough to know exactly what to do, what needs to be done.
And Nicole, when you are in the zone, what are you feeling?
Jelly roll.
Yeah, singing Jelly Roll. But no, I feel like I'm ready to go. Like, I know my course, I know my distance. I have that belief in myself, knowing that I can do this, and having that belief in my horse that he's going to take me around, and we're just going to have a good time. And it's just the two of us at the ring. There's no one else. There's not a judge watching us. It's just him and I, and we're going to have a good time. So
Do you feel light?
yeah, because you're breathing.
Yeah.
It's a big thing to do.
Breathing's important, but you
Yeah.
feel light. You're not feeling tight.
No, and I used to have this really, really bad habit of searching for my old trainer. Everywhere I went, every horse show I'd go to, every ring I was at, I would search for him just to make sure he wasn't there. And now that I've learned to just let him go, I can stay in the moment and in the shows with him, and just, he's the past. It's okay.
You
We're
drop
just
the
gonna have a
mic.
good time.
Just take that dust off that
Yeah.
shoulder and just say, okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah, I always say that the power's in the present moment. And when you can master that, it is a game changer. And I have experiential evidence that it works, and it's something that I teach to all my clients. And it'll change your life, because miracles exist only in the now. There is no past, there is no future, there's only one eternal now. So if you can learn to quiet your mind and just be present, anything can happen.
So, Jessica, as a teacher, having Nicole here, how does that make you feel?
So proud. So happy for her. She often will thank me, and I say it every time. I'm like, you did all the work. I just kind of gave you a flashlight. But she's worked so hard on herself. She's so committed to her journey, so committed to her healing. And that's really important in this work. You have to want it for yourself. I can't help anybody that doesn't want to be helped, and I can't help anyone that doesn't want to do the work on the backside. But
There
I'm
are no
so
shortcuts.
there are none. And I'm just so proud of her, because she has busted her booty and she has faced some really dark demons that live within, and she's shown up for herself, and it has proven to show up back for her in her life.
I think Nicole needs one of your whoop whoops.
Whoop, whoop.
There you go. All right. Raise those hands.
Yeah.
So you bring this up though, but you mentioned your son who's a baseball player.
He is, yeah.
Is he receptive to listening to you about all these tricks and trades?
He used to be all the time when he was younger. He would be stressed out, or he'd come to me and be like, can we tap, EFT tapping. He'd meditate with me all the time. He used to open my yoga classes all the time. But he's a teenager now. So
Mom knows nothing.
now I'm annoying. So, but it's interesting because he doesn't practice with me as often, but I know it's in there, because if I'm ever out of my heart or I'm having a stressful moment, he's the one to always rein me back and give me the same guidance that I give to him. So I know it's in there. He's just a 13, almost 14-year-old
And
boy.
what is his name?
Ryland.
Rylan, I hope you're listening.
Yeah.
I hope
And
you're getting some.
And I have a daughter. She's 7, and she's just the most confident, vibrant. Oh, I want to be her when I grow up. And she's so cool, and they're so polar opposites. So I'm not worried about her.
And what is her name? Because we got to give her some props.
Her Ayla.
Ayla. So
She's a wild
Ayla,
thing.
you're the wild thing, and you're only 7. And God have mercy on your mom's soul.
Oh,
That's
yes,
all I gotta
please.
say. All right, now comes our fun time.
Yay, lightning round.
Explain
right.
what this is.
So we're going to ask you a question. We don't want you to really think about it.
Mhm.
It's about the first thing that comes to your mind. So if I say your favorite food, I don't want you to sit there for 5 minutes trying to figure it out. I want you to go ice cream or whatever it is. First thing that comes to your mind.
Now, should we ask just Jessica or ask Jessica and Nicole?
Let's do both.
Let's do both. So we'll start with Jessica, and then we'll have you answer as
So
well.
you get an extra few seconds.
Exactly.
We can say at the same time.
All right. Go ahead, Pete.
One thought riders should never take into the ring.
I can't.
One thought that always helps, even. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah.
One thought should never be in the ring.
You're
Come
not
on.
good enough.
Okay. Now comes my chance. One thought that always helps, even when things go sideways.
Don't think about it.
No, hold on.
She's
Wait, wait, wait.
breathing. She's breathing.
Watch the pin. Let's get you in the zone.
One thought that when things go sideways.
One thought that always helps, even when things go sideways.
Detachment.
I'm gonna be okay.
Okay.
I thought she was gonna go jelly roll. Confidence built before the ride or during it?
Before.
Before.
All right. I'm going to say this one, and you're going to have to maybe come up, maybe the same song. When you go on out there, they play a song.
Mhm.
When you go out to,
Me?
yes, out in the arena. What is that song? What is your song that you walk out? Like if you're a baseball player and you're a
Oh.
pitcher, you walk out. It's not the wild thing.
Carrie Underwood, Champion.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
I'm sticking with Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll.
Which song?
Oh, there's so many good ones. Amen.
Amen. All right.
There's so many. There's been many times that My song was "If I Die Young."
Although my song
When I used to have
recently,
Quinn, I would sing that song like, "Please don't let me die today."
my song recently has been Jelly Rolls. I'm not okay with this cold weather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. That's why I started to say that.
Okay, fear, enemy or teacher?
Teacher.
Nicole?
Teacher now.
Teacher now. Overthinking or underpreparing? What kills more rounds?
Under preparing.
I struggle with the overthinker.
They're both. They're both like gonna kill you.
Okay, best mental reset after a bad distance.
Detachment and 3 breaths.
Gotta laugh it off.
Interesting. Why 3 breaths?
It just sets your nervous system back in place. Just 3 simple breaths, and you don't have much time for much else between jumps.
Okay. So
Get
Nicole,
3 out.
Nicole, you're gonna think about this for yourself, but Jessica, since you're our teacher here, I want you to answer it this way. One mistake writers obsess over way too long.
Oh, a bad trip, a rail, something that was out of their control. That's a big one. I try to teach everybody to not attach to any outcomes. That's really important. It's something I stress a lot. If you don't attach to an outcome, then you're open to anything happening. And when you can do that, you can easily process better, and you're able to be more receptive to a bad round or something happening, and take that with a grain of salt and just being like, okay, I learned, and now we can move on.
I always tell my students goal with no agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm really guilty about worrying about other people's judgment on me.
Mhm.
What matters more, belief in the horse or belief in yourself?
That's a dual partnership. I strongly feel confident that has to be equal.
I feel like it has to start with you first in order for you to give it to the
There
horse.
you go. Obi-Wan Kenobi. There you go.
That would be Luke Skywalker. That
I
wouldn't be
know.
Luke, right.
I was looking at Obi-Wan
Yeah.
Kenobi as I was talking. Best advice for writers right before they're in the gate. Don't say
Present.
break a leg.
No, stay present. Be present.
Be present. Nicole,
Just go have fun.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Ooh. One habit mentally strong riders do after they dismount.
Reflect.
Oh man, that's a hard one. I can't think about this. Yeah, I do a lot of self-reflection after rides.
I think that it's really important after each ride to credit the things you did well.
What's harder to recover from mentally, a fall or a rail?
It depends. Because if you're in a high stakes class and you're winning it and it's that last rail, that could be detrimental to your mental health. If it's like a high stakes situation where a little trip and fall off won't matter. That's situational based, I think.
Nope, it's coming off for me.
I knew that was coming. And for me,
Well, for the high emotional people, that rail could be more important.
since I had this Beamer jump out there in the Grand Prix the first time, 2 poles got broken. I was counting how many were left. I thought, I'm not finishing this first Grand Prix. It's a long story, but Brody made me a great table, and whenever it comes to the cabin, they could see it.
Oh, these are the broken ones?
Yeah.
The broken.
Wow. Who broke it?
Well, it was the
2
first Grand Prix.
riders.
The first one that jumped over it won the Olympics, no problem.
Wow.
We were the water jump,
Yeah.
and the Marines came parachuting down, so they made it a little bit open, so it was a little tight turns. So then the second guy jumps over it, breaks a pole. So we have a good party at our thing. We're all watching this.
Yeah.
And so here comes a guy trying out to put the new pole out there. Everyone's kind of laughing,
No.
the word question. Then the third guy comes out, breaks another pole. And I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
oh my.
So I look at Ian and I go, how many poles do you have? And he goes, I think we only have 1 left.
I might not finish the first Grand Prix.
Yeah,
I might be
right.
one and done.
One thing parents should stop saying immediately.
Parents are, if you don't, followed by some sort of threat. I think parents really have much more influence than they think they do. And a lot of the times, like, if you don't, whatever it may be, but it can really mess with the kid's head.
I'd have to say telling them that they've like disappointed them or like they weren't good enough. You got to stop doing that.
I spent this much money and this is what you've done.
Mhm.
Right, exactly. Like if you don't go out there
You know?
and
You're
do
not the
well,
winner.
if you don't go out there and ride, if they're not feeling well or something like that, I don't know.
What about you, Pete?
But
Answer that question since I just did.
Parents should keep their mouth shut.
Agreed.
Or let me rephrase that. Parents should encourage at the show and then discuss at home.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, how did you feel about this? What do you think you could do better? What do you think went right? I always have with my students, I always say 3 things that went right, 3 things that you could improve.
Yeah.
Not saying it went wrong.
Yeah.
3 things you want to improve.
Keeping it encouraging instead of demeaning.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I've got one I'm making up because I just thought of this one.
Mm.
Okay. Trainer at the show should keep their mouth shut and let you take the test, or should coach you while you're taking the test or before you take the test.
Like an actual test, like the equitation test type?
Or jumping,
Oh, yeah.
dressage. Should trainers back off and say, let my students take the test, or should they coach?
Have they schooled the horse in the ring? And
They warm up everything. What do you think they should do?
I think they should definitely be coaching in the schooling ring. I think there's way too much screaming across the ring that's going on. I think once the student walks in the ring, it should be on the student.
Nicole?
So
Nicole's like, everybody be quiet. Jelly
No.
Roll is playing.
no, I mean, I feel like in a sense you kind of have to let us, being the student, like take the reins a little bit and let us go show what you've kind of taught us and what we've practiced. But in the same sense, like if things are going really south,
Yeah.
like don't let me flop, like kind of help
Right,
me
yeah.
out, but don't be overbearing and screaming the entire round.
Subtle reminders can be helpful when you're cantering past the gate, and it's just like, hey, remember this. But it's kind of, it depends on the level. If you have a short stirrup kid in the ring versus you're showing in the high juniors, and it's
I always say that's the time that the teacher should be taking notes.
yeah,
Saying, oh, we need to go over warm up
Right.
more often at
Mhm.
home.
for sure.
And yes, I'll answer questions in the warm up, but it should be in my opinion,
That's the
that's your
time to
test.
show up,
I can't stand beside you
Yeah.
while you take the
We
test.
can't teach it now.
Yeah.
Right.
What's one word riders should anchor to mid-round?
Breathe. This is
Nicole?
rapid fire, right? That was my answer.
That was gonna be my answer.
Yeah.
That's okay. You can have the same.
One thing trainers should say more often.
Good job.
That was nice.
Good job, and that was nice. Not $20, please.
I also think trainers should help their students implement like the 5-minute rule.
Talk to us about the 5-minute rule.
Do you know the 5-minute rule?
I made up the 5-minute rule.
What?
So that was shocking.
Oh, okay.
I teach the 5-minute rule.
Wow.
I learned the 5-minute rule.
I could do it in 4.5.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The Jacksonville Winter Series, when that was still a thing. I used to show that circuit all the time, and I had made a friend there who he was vendoring. He was a saddle dealer, and I had busted some trip or something. I was so mad. I was so mad, and I couldn't let it go. I was like, God, if I just would have done this, and he taught it to me. He's like, look, from now on, something goes wrong, you have 5 minutes when you come out of the ring. You can bitch, you can kick, you can like get off your horse and go stomp your feet, do whatever it is. 5 minutes only though, and you have to let it go after that. And I started to implement this 5-minute rule, and it is so successful.
Not the same 5-minute rule.
What is yours?
My 5-minute rule is when the horse has found calm, connected, confident, and communicating with you and the environment to the degree you want, and has either moved or stopped. So if the horse is moving, it comes to a stop, or if it's been standing still,
Mhm.
it's now moved, had all those 5 things going on. Then you wait 5 minutes. If nothing changes, you move on. If something changes, you have to wait for the change to finish and then wait 5 more minutes.
I like your 5-minute rule too.
And now I'm teaching business people to do that when they show up. To the electrician I teach, he taught his guys when they show up for a job, wait 5 minutes before they start anything.
Yeah.
So they get the whole
Yeah.
of what's going on. And then when they finish the job, they wait 5 minutes before they pack up. So that way, if they forgot something, they go,
That's great.
oh, so now
Mhm.
they're not going back as often.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
I think that's good. I think what you guys just did right there, we don't need any more. of that, lightning rounds, but it's kind of fun to kind of do that. I think it's been great.
That's the first time we've
Yeah.
gotten stopped.
Stop right there because we have a few more, but maybe the last kind of question I want to ask is if riding success was judged by those who enjoy the sport the longest, who would win the most? How would riders need to think differently starting tomorrow?
Can you read it one more time?
Or
say that one
I'm
more
not
time?
supposed to be reading.
Sorry,
I know.
I said say that. Can you say that one more time?
I'll have to cut that one out.
Sorry.
If riding success was judged by who enjoys the sport the longest, not who wins the most, how would riders need to think differently starting tomorrow?
Riding success was judged the longest.
Longevity over success. How, if we were worried more about you rode the competition for 20 years versus you won for 2 years.
They would need to start thinking differently. I think it's tapping into the joy, tapping into the inner essence of why it lights you up. I think we all have that little, pony kid in us. And when you can tune back into that and you can get back to that inner essence of joy and love and why you're really doing this because it lights you up on the inside, that's where the longevity is. Would be what I think. Yeah.
So, Jessica, how do we get to know more about what you do? How do we get a hold of you if we are interested in getting some help?
So I'll be here all week. I'm in cabin 24. I'll be back next week for the expo, which I'm really excited about. Otherwise, my website is theminddiva.com. Full access to getting a hold of me on there. I do work on Zoom. I travel to horse shows. My information's on my website on what shows I'll be at. Otherwise, I work on Zoom. Most of my clients are on Zoom, and then my home base is just north of Atlanta.
I think that's great.
Nicole, thank you for being here and giving us your experience with Jessica.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Awesome. I had a lot of fun. I think this is fantastic.
I thought it was great. It put me in the zone.
It puts you in the zone. It
I'm in
put
the zone.
Brady right in the zone.
Brady's knocked out.
I got to tell you,
Calm and confident over there.
calm and confident, sitting jelly roll. All right, ladies, thank you so much for
Thank
having
you
us.
guys so
Thank
much
you.
for having me. It was an absolute pleasure.
That's a wrap on another powerful episode of In the Zone with Ian Robb and Dancin Pete Rodda. Whether you ride, compete, or simply love your animals like family, today's episode was a reminder that true teamwork starts with connection and that health is the ultimate performance edge. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and leave us a review. And catch us next time as we dive deeper into the mind, body, and bold journeys of top performers. Until then, stay focused, stay inspired, and keep riding in the zone.